noche tienes dos moscas. Una es para los bis, la otra es para los trout. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. This is Matt. Just messing around with you. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys being here, hanging out, and doing what we do, which is tie flies on Thursday nights. A little hiatus. I still have a finger. It's kind of wobbly, but whatever. Doesn't really matter. So, anyways, tonight we have two really cool flies, and then hola Terry, what's up, man? And then we're gonna do. I'm gonna throw out a surprise fly. We're gonna do a third fly, not on the roster, kind of a spur of a moment thing I just wanted to do, and see what you guys think. So what we'll do is jump in up close, focus in on some flies, and check it out. What's up, Ever, Spencer? I know, right? So, alright guys. Well, I guess Michael's not here to harass you tonight, Matt, so he had to get his jabs in earlier in the day. Alright, look at this. Get smooth. What's up, Aaron? Jordan, hello. Let's do that. I found this new feature on the camera. It's kind of cool. You can make it focus in an area and then locks. So first up tonight, coming back, this was slated to be done, well, geez, almost a month ago. Hey Dennis, good to talk to you too. It was fun seeing you at the show. So the first little guy we're doing tonight, this is not my pattern. This is Mr. Bob Reese's fly, and he's an Orvis signature tyer. And this is a cool generalized little baitfish pattern. It's using pine squirrel, but as per any Loon Live, I have to change it up a bit and be a little bit rambunctious with it. So I have a little spin to do. Danny, hello. Yes, exactly. Lock focus. So we're going to jump in and I'll explain you guys this fly pattern. We're also tying the Jigawockie and basically a fly that has no name yet. So there are some variations that I'm doing on this pattern from what Bob does. He uses a Flyman Fishing fish skull mask, and like on the one that I showed you, this is a pine squirrel zonker, which is really cool. A little bit harder for me to find, and I did this one in an olive color. So that's the original. He also uses a fish mask instead of using UV resin, so we're going to make a switch there. So tonight I'm going to be bringing in some micro pulsator strips. Jiga who? Jiga what? Oh, yes. You guys have been fishing a lot together there, Evers and Aaron. I like it. So I'm gonna play with the pattern just a little bit, and I'm gonna utilize some hot pink and some pearl, some hot pink and pearl, and we're gonna make kind of a rainbow trout pattern. Thread is thread du jour. I prefer my 50D for pretty much everything in my life. Yeah, very nice brown today, Mr. Aaron. I was jealous. I did get to fish on Fishmas, as many people know. If you're on the West Coast, specifically in California, the last Saturday in April is opening for trout season. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull some of this UV eye stub. You could use an angel hair. Any of those will suffice in this situation here. If you caught that fish twice, Aaron, that is quite the feat. I like it. And I still have flies for you, Aaron, to throw at muskies, by the way. So I'm going to just fold this back, kind of create this little belly section here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to taper cut this just a little bit. So there's two ideas I've had about this. I kind of wanted to make this a rainbow trout because of stripers and bass. So I'm going to bring in some pink eye stub. You could use a pink, you know, ice wing fiber, something like that if you're desiring a little bit of extra length. So I'm going to add a little bit of pink, and I'm going to, with this pink, this is just one extra step on the fly, but I'm going to add a little bit. Now if you're using ice wing fiber you wouldn't have to do this, but this is a little bit of Senyo's Predator wrap just to make it wilder. So this is going to turn into our pink sides. That would have been super cool. I would have used the kind of softer pink with the black spots in it that they have. Well, I hear you, Danny. Well, we just have certain rivers that are closures. So the Lower Sacramento, which is pretty much my backyard, is a year-round fishery. So, but yeah, all the fun stuff, and I've seen the fish you guys are catching back there on the old Instagram, and they're pretty awesome fish back there. So I'm just going to taper cut the tail of this so you guys can see what I'm up to here, and just thin that out. I haven't sanded this hide at all. But this is just going to become the back of the fly. And this this micropulsator is pretty cool. It's black barred, light olive, and a dark olive. I like it wild. We have wild weather here today. It said there was a slight chance of rain, and I think I just got 6 inches in my driveway. It turned into a puddle from the deluge of hail and rain. So this guy's, I'm tying this a little bit bigger. Normally we'd be using like a size 6. This is a octopus hook, octopus styled hook. You can also use any number, big egg hook, stuff like that. Bob just is keyed in on this octopus hook as his hook of choice. Yeah, this color of rabbit, man, I don't think there's anything that doesn't like it. It's sculpiny, it's trouty, it's a little bit of everything. So I'm going to lash this down just a little bit more. And you could glue it, but I mean, it's not coming out. If it comes out, you've got your money's worth, I'm pretty sure. So what I'll do here is, because as you guys know, I don't love rabbit hide. It gets heavy and absorbs water, making the fly a little bit more difficult to cast. So I'm going to pull a dubbing loop, put in the dubbing spinner, and we're going to spin a rabbit loop here. That is true, man. I was surprised that it's wildfires and such already. I'm pretty sure this year is could be pretty banner everywhere though, in the world, with the odd weather phenomenons that we've been having. So what I do here is I'm going to take this and pick out a nice section, as you guys can see, and anything I don't want to use I'll just turn it into a dubbing or blend it in something later. But I'm just going to go ahead and clip the rabbit. Up. And we're just going to remove it from the hide. So now you have like a mouse tail. If you guys do that with your chunks of discarded rabbit. But has anybody been fishing out there? Other than Aaron catching the same fish twice. Poor fish. Alright. So once I have set that in there, I don't have any dubbing wax or anything in here. You guys could add that. I feel gentle pressure and a good closed loop. And we'll just give it the inevitable spin. And you can see that rabbit start to just flare and become one. Hey Guy, how's it going? Every day. I like that, Jordan. That makes me jealous. I look at rivers every day, but not fishing them. So what I'm going to do is we're going to palmer in the face on this. And this whole process could be deleted if you just wrap the rabbit on the hide. I like to be a little, I don't know. Like I said, I like to lighten up my flies a little bit. It's my own personal thing. Cool. I bet you could catch a tarpon on this thing even, like a tarpon toad almost. Do it in a little bit different colorway. Some worm colors and just go to town. So I'm going to wrap back, just securing over everything that we did. The 570 flies, cool. So Bob, 5 trout, the chain pickler today, all on the 570 flies. Hey Guy, how was the east side of the Sierras? I know you've been over there a little bit. And I'm going to be using just a 6mm eye on this. These are just standard gold. The pattern uses some of those high flute and fancy jobs with like the realistic looking eyes, which I could completely see being really cool. I just didn't have any. Put the cart before the horse there just a touch, because I never do that. I'm just going to drop some flow in there to build a base to work off of. And once I have that done, I'll whip finish. So this is going to stabilize on all those threads in there. Nope. Did I just bump that eye up? I did. Nice, Danny. You guys share that border pretty well with Arizona. I forget, I was talking to a gentleman that was over there on the White River and has a little fly and bait shop. Really cool people. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in the thin and start creating the head work. And I want to go pretty light on the Yes, Aaron, you need to get that light. Per Jedi Evers, you have been commanded. So we're going to hit the thin on the bottom as well. And we're going to go ahead and just encapsulate and build the whole thing, working a little bit back into the rabbit strip here. And then I'll just top shot it with some flow. You can see I just work really lightly with the flow just to give it a little covering. This is the mega lamp, yes. Let's give him a little trim down there. And that's pretty much going to be our fly to fish right there. This thing would actually be super fun up here in Northern California with stripers in the river and stuff. This is a standard jaw, but it's the stainless steel version. The big game guys are a lot more big gamier. I can fit an 11-aught in my big game. This tops out at a 5-aught, Mr. Evers. This one is a size 6, but in a octopus hook, so it's a conventional hook which doesn't correlate to fly. So if you were to do fly size, say like on an egg hook or similar, you would need like a 1 or a 1-aught, I would say. So yeah, there's our little first guy tonight. All right. So this goofy little guy is something I call the Jigawockie, and it's kind of named after the Jabberwocky, but it's a Jibberwocky, and it's just a really versatile nymph pattern. I tie him bigger and add legs, and I call it the gold digger stone, which, you know, it gets antenna and half the materials change on it, but it's a really simple fly to tie. As you can see, there's not a lot of thorax to it, but there is a significant amount of bead. So I don't remember which shop, Danny. Does it work? No, it catches nothing. I'm just showing you it to make you tie some nothings. It's been a great little searching pattern for me. I tied anywhere from a 16 to a 10, if that helps you out at all. And you can change the colors on it. I do yellows, browns. This one's orange with a red spot. And it's a pretty cool pattern. I guess I do need a bead. Yes, I do. So in the vise is going my Daiichi 4640 size 12. That's a bronze version. There's another option that I have. I forget the numbers on it, but it turns into a turns in black. So they have a black finish. Fisherman catcher is 18 too small. No, but it's a pain to tie. And the bead kind of gets a little bit wonky on you. If I looked at the bead while I was threading it, that would help. So the bead that we're using is a hairline tungsten bead. It is the offset special tungsten bead, which kind of helps it to sit upwards on this style of fly. So I did change my thread, and I have a 14-aught Vivus in brown, just to throw you guys off. And there is, well, there's actually is, but I was going to try to claim that there was no iced peacock black in here, but that'd just be a bold-faced lie. So a lot of people have asked me, and as we're tying this, tungsten beads at a good price. Tungsten beads, you know, I'd love to tell you that like the discount places would do you justice, Jordan, but they really don't. It's an expensive item. It costs a lot. It's hard to work with. I've looked at tungsten before, and it's very expensive by the pound, but it has a melting point of, I think it's like 6,120 degrees. So you have to have some pretty specialized equipment just to make this stuff. So the guys that tell you they have the cheap ones, I would just warn you that you're going to get what you pay for. So just keep that in mind. Dr. Peacock. So this is a hen saddle. Comes on a greater chunk of hen saddle. This happens to be a Brahma hen from Whiting. You can use an India hen back as well. You could, for tailing fibers, you could use Coq de Leon. You could use any number of different feathers for this. And I don't go by feather numbers. I just go, so I take about a hook gap. So that's about a 1/4 inch in my world of a feather. And we're going to keep it a little bit on the tight. We don't want this to really have a lot of drag behind it. And we're going to go pretty high and tight with our body. Next up, I'm going to put in a piece of small brown or copper brown uni wire. It doesn't matter which one. Yeah, I think Allen's would be a good source. I've never purchased from them, so I'm sure they have some ones on Fly Fish Foods website as well. I know those guys tie a lot with tungsten beads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie these both in independently, or together, sorry, and then I'm going to work forward. And when I work forward, I'm going to create a much more complete thread base. So I'm going to get rid of any sort of undercolor or the wire. The reason being is this body quill that we're using, this is BQ14. It's a very fine braided material, very translucent in nature. It's really cool. It's actually light enough that you can use it for dries. I use it for a lot of my, I call them fast sink nymphs, for pocket water, and actually they work everywhere. I fish them on the big river too. And as we move forward, I'm going to build a little bit of a thorax, but not too much. And then we'll go around it just a few times and wrap it back out so it has multiple contact points there. I didn't even say the whole thing. Alright, so we're going to come in and create body segmentation for this fly with the uni wire. It's not going to sink in, it's going to be raised. And then we'll just pin it in here. Do a little helicopter work. So So the misleading thing with these beads is just to forewarn you guys, like, you're going to bring your thorax up quite a decent distance here. So I'm going to use flow. If you have the fluorescing flow, you could do either one. It depends on what you want your fly to do. But I just barely bring any out, and I'm just going to coat this to give it a nice solid body, and you can see it becomes really mottled. Now, if you wanted it to be more of a true orange, you can leave or tie with a white thread, and you won't have the bleed through from the thread underneath, but it creates a very deep looking color when you know, if you tied with yellow, white thread, red thread, it'll tend to pick up a lot of those hues throughout this body. Fish do like the fluorescent one, I won't lie about that. So so our dubbing mix, this is what's left of a custom blend that I did. I'll let you guys in on the custom blend that I do. It is a brown, dark brown hare's ear dubbing. There's a little bit of UV Ice Dub 369, which is a tan. There's a little bit of orange hare's ear dub in there. There's some Ice Dub Peacock Black, and I call this the bench dubbing because I kind of keep making it after I'm done tying a ton of flies, and I just put it together and it works well. So it's not quite Kentucky Fried Chicken special, but it's kind of cool. The fishes love that number. It's just kind of sad when you start knowing all of the catalog numbers for fly tying materials. And I have a lot in my brain typically, because it's the stuff that I run out of really quick. So I'm going to flip this bead up, and I'll actually just dub so we have a spot where we're going to start our thorax. And what I'll do is, you'll see I'll leave this dubbing bump back here, and we'll bring in our head and saddle, and we're going to create some legginess. And again, for each side, I am just doing a hook's width and make sure that they're all even. Make sure my fingernails are clean so Wyco Flyco doesn't mind to get mad at me. And we'll do the other side. So I put these guys, if you're looking down the front of the fly right now, they go about 9 and 3 still. Still using my clock technique. And I will be fishing this tomorrow. Once the photography work's done, I get to fish them. So, and I'm out right now. We lost them all. Yeah, I use, man, I don't think I use pretty much anything packaged that much anymore. I got really into, I got more into it once I got some cool tools to blend dubbings, but been really into doing dubbing blends. Since I got a new knife sharpener and my knives are really sharp, I have to whip with my middle finger now. What is 9.33? So I'm going to take a little bit of thin and drop it into this. You can see there's like an open slot right here that comes in. And I'm going to go ahead and cure that. That's going to help stabilize our bead. It builds a little bit of durability to the fly. and then we come in and do our wing case work. I'm not pulling stuff for wing cases too often anymore. When I do, there's a very specific reason for it. I just take some flow, and this needs to be done pretty quick. You want to have that ready. And now we have a spot that we can try to keep up. Now we have a spot we can put our wing case on. Reed tie, come on. I know, I'm sorry. You know, it's been a month, so I'm a little slow here. Getting back in the swing of things. I've only tied like 20 flies since my big injury. When your wife's an ER nurse and she doesn't like the way something sounds when you do it, you know you have done it right. No, I have never been that fast. You're right. So now we have this wicked hot spot on here. You guys can probably see it glowing. But the theory is just putting in a big hot spot. You can make it smaller. You can actually color it and change it up a bit. But yeah, that little guy there is the Jigawockie. And it's a pretty fun little pattern. Works really well. And it's just heavier than all get out. So fast, riffly water, you're going to be able to get down really quick. Alrighty. Bobby asked if I fish the upper sack or the McLeod much. I fish both of them quite a bit, and the upper sack is like if I'm not fishing steelhead, that's where I'm at. Thanks, Terry. Thanks, Mr. Evers. Aaron, thank you. Jordan, thanks. So next up, I've been tying a lot on jig hooks. And the reason being is because if a 4-year-old can stay connected to fish on a jig hook, they are doing something right. So this does not have a name yet. This is an unnamed little beast. And I'm going to see if I can't get in. Whoa. Too tight. Let's see. I got too wild. Still too wild. That works. And focus lock. So this is a new guy. I've been tying it with both CDC and Partridge. I did have the dubbing pre-mixed, Danny, yeah. It pretty much just goes to be like some of my main dubbings, and if I take too much out of the bag, I just put them in a pile until I get enough to make the mix. But some of the longer fibers, I found that I'm using the Hairline Make Your Own dubbing kit, and it's a little expensive out of the gate, but it's way better than having your wife angry for there being rabbit hair in your coffee grinder. Call it trout food. Call it the little beast. Terry asks, I just use that, I mean, I'll grab it for you. I see it from here. Watch this. Ugh. This is my, well, I'll show you at the end. So you have to stay till the end. I'm not going to, we'll zoom out here in a bit. But it's a big board that I mix all the dubbing on at this point. So I'm going to drop this little beast trout food creature out of the vise right now. The dirty nymph. I like Sue. I think Johnny Cash reference. Perfect, buddy. Alrighty. So this bead and this hook, you can see it's a little bit smaller. I get lots of cool stuff to try, and the Cheech and Curtis were kind enough to get me involved with this fun little hook. It's a size 14 barbless jig, the Jig Force, and they have those probably on their store too. Those boys seem to have everything. Ebbers, you need a store. So it's a cool jig hook. It's real. I mean, it's real sticky. So it's a good hook. Seems well. JDD, upper sack over the pit. Totally different fisheries for me. I dig the Pit River quite a bit. The times that I get to go out there and fish, and you know, I like the diversity. The upper sack's just so convenient. There's so much you can get to, and cover so much water really quickly. So I usually end up on the upper sack. May the Jig Force be with you. The boy named Sue. My name is Sue. How do you do? So for the tail on this, these little guys, I've been using the Coq de Leon, and you can see one feather will tie you mucho flies. That's Spanish for many. And yeah, so a lot of guys ask me, and I'll touch on that. So when I'm wing casing with these big wing cases up here like this, a lot of people ask me, dude, it's upside down. Why did you do that? Or how is that going to ride? And I don't, look, the answer, I mean, not to sound like rude or anything, but I'm like, I don't care how it rides. Because the point is, when I snorkeled rivers and I've looked through rivers and stuff like that, watching fish and habitats and their habitat and their way they operate, and having a buddy drop bugs in, this bug goes like this down the river. So no matter which way it really is, the fish, I'd love to tell you that it like makes a huge difference. It's really just size, shape, and color last. Yesterday or the other day when I was out with my dad here on the lower sack, we ran out of the fly we're tying now, ran out of one that looked like it, went to one that didn't look like it but was the same size, and it was just, couldn't keep them off as long as it was a size 16. So let's see. Aaron, you noob. So they're going to rotate throughout the water column, especially in faster, heavier water. So it doesn't really come into play for me. I don't think of it as an issue ever. So I took about hook gap's worth of Coq de Leon, and that's going to become our tail. And you can see I like to leave a few extras on there because fish can't count. And if something happens, you have a few extras. Angle of the sun, magnetic north. So, and this is a yellow tan biot here, and I'm just going to take the leading edge of the goose wing, go from there. Man, I want to go fish with Ebbers and Aaron. You guys just razz each other all too much. I'm going to have to come back there to the land of Hedron Flashaboo where y'all live, and we'll have to go fishing one someday. Kind of have some things happening right now, so some like thing called work. It's a good time. So I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that people think fish can count. I know bass can't. Bass definitely cannot count. Trout are mildly more sophisticated though. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the raised edge of this feather, and that's going to become the back. And it kind of stands up just a touch. So we're going to get a good little amount of segmentation. And we'll tie this off forward. So next up, I like to use a little bit of golden brown eye stub, 157. We're just going to take the slightest of pinches here. We don't need a ton. Whoa, how did I pull that off? So like I was saying, these hooks are really sharp. A hook on a turd will catch a bucket mouth. Yeah, but the big ones are smart. They still can't count, but they'll only eat certain things. So I'll just take that little tiny bit of golden brown eye stub, create just a little dubbing bump there, lock it in. I want a little more. I want a little more oomph to that dubbing bump, maybe. The kids are even being moderate tonight. That is true Cinco de Mayo spirit right there, Cherry. I like it. So we're going to come down in here onto the little neck segment of the partridge, just into these little itty bitty fine guys. That's going to be our legs for this. You could also use a CDC, or CDC is really deadly. So this thing's kind of, I don't even know how to describe it. It's part like Mercer fly, Duracell jig, something I thought up in my head. I usually give stuff like this to Mike Mercer. When he came out with the PT Prince, I left a few flies on his desk. And it was a hare's ear, a prince nymph, and a copper john. And I called it the Hairy Prince John. I actually caught fish on it, but I did it just to mess with him. Jordan, this is an eye stub in golden brown. So you got to be really delicate with these small partridge. Probably be great in a dubbing loop. Much more sturdy, but and then I'll just wrap back over it for stability purposes. And we'll introduce some more of my, this is going to be our collar here, but it's just the same dubbing. It's the brown, some orange hare's ear, ice stub tan, and peacock black. And that's going to become kind of our thorax on this fly. Notice I didn't use the super special jig bead here, I just used another tungsten bead. Curtis taught me that trick, I guess. I'll admit that from his Duracell jig fly, which is deadly effective. Does Aaron show up to like events with like old beat up fly tying materials, Evers? Do we need to hook him up? So last but not least, what I'll do is I'll brush these guys forward, and I'll go ahead and coat this biot in the back with flow. You could do it before if you remember. If not, the needle points are thin enough that you can get in there. And then we'll just cure that out. And I use some flow for the head cement as well. But yeah, that's the new, that's Sue, or Nasty Nymph. Roadkill. Smells bad. Dollar store and roadkill. Yes. Poor Aaron's just getting rousted tonight. Poor guy. Poor guy. He's just trying to hang out and heckle another fly tyer. So, yeah. Thanks, Terry. I appreciate it. I'm going to sneak out and put that one in the kit as well. Hats on crooked. Something, I don't know. But you can always smell when I'm not tying. So yeah, we have 2 weeks from now, we have oh, poor Aaron. So 2 weeks from now, we're going to have another live stream, and dubbing mixer, yes. So this is what I'm using for the dubbing mixer. The sign on the wall. That one, or the Keep Calm and Tie Flies one. Dennis, that fly has been deadly on the lower stack. If you're fishing the lower stack, fish that, something like that. So this has a counterpart with the same bristles. You drag the materials through it, back and forth a few times, and it'll mix it all up. And it's designed just for dubbing mixing, and it's from Hairline. Give them a plug there, but it's called the Make Your Own Kit. It's all US made, glued together. It's pretty killer. Keep Calm and Tie Flies. That one was hard to get. It's a partridge mouse pad actually, and I just put it up there on the wall. So Clifford's dog brush. So yeah, if you find the partridge guys, they have that as a sticker too, I believe. So yeah, 2 weeks from now, I'm open to suggestions if you guys have anything that you want to see tied. Otherwise, I'll just get crazy. Thanks, Aaron. If I was lived closer to you, I'd give you a tissue. Yeah, it's at the top. You can see it's a partridge deal. So I don't know. That's who I got it from. Is Partridge at a Fly Fishing Show. But yeah, if you guys have any, let's see, a Frenchie. I'll tie a French nymph. Absolutely. I'll figure out a cool one if you want to shoot me a message on what you want me to tie. And then get crazy, says Matt Evers. We could do that too. So we'll do a Frenchie and a hug for Aaron and a pike streamer. I just did pike the last one. Look at, they're still up here. Look at, I have piles of pike streamers just hanging everywhere. So we just recently did pike streamers. Maybe I'll do a really crazy articulated crawdad style pattern. And something really crazy. We'll make your guys' brains think about stuff. I have something in mind that I've been working on or testing on or something. So sounds good. A bomber. I'll sneak a bomber in there soon. upper sack flies. We'll get some of those going too. Oh, feather changer, you hate me? Might as well ask me to tie a hellgrammite, Aaron. We'll do a feather changer, bomber. I think I'm good for like a few episodes now. So yeah, as we have some more faster to tie patterns, we'll get more patterns in there for sure. Sneaky ones. Any of the flies that I tied today, Bobby, are great for the upper sack, by the way. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. Where can I message you? You can always message me, matt@loonoutdoors.com, and I will get that because it's my email address. So, double deceiver. Oh, that could be cool. All right. Hellgraphite. Wait, what's this button? Ban user. All right. So, anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. And next week or next episode, I'll go crazy, and we'll have some, we'll have some other fun stuff. Spencer, thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. And one thing we're going to start doing, if you guys don't want to go back and watch the full episode, is I'm going to start doing a quick tie, which is like the original Jigawockie video that we put out. So you should be able to get most of the flies done in under 20 minutes if you don't want to come back and watch the live stream for how to do a step-by-step. So everything you saw tonight will be up on Loon within the near future. Thank you, Aaron. Any creek flies worth tying? Nope, creeks are horrible to fish. You need to stay out of creeks, Jason. You just need to stick to big rivers. Just kidding. Anyways, guys. Wrong math, sorry. Alright, guys. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it, and we'll see you soon.